The statement which Murathe is giving, we don't know he's presenting who. Although he's releasing the statement when he's drunk, totally drunk. And also the president, when he's saying he doesn't want to hear Mambo ya 2022, who started 2022? It is the president. He is the one who was going around when we were doing the election, saying he is going for 10 years, Ruto is going for 10 years. Who started the issue of 2022? It is the president. Let me tell you the president, you are going to leave a very bad legacy in this country. And you are going to bring war in this country. Because you should stand and unite Kenyans. You should stand and disown Murathe. You should stand and talk about Jubilee. We know the people of handshake, now they have entered every ministry. Civil servants, now they are being threatened by the handshake everywhere. You are here, we are going to start the demonstration. We want election for the president for this country. Kama president ameshindwa kuweka sisi pamoja, we are asking for election. Turudie uchaguzi. If people like Murathe, they are the one talking on the behalf of the party. I want to say we are demanding election immediately. All of us, we are going to call all the members. Because when we voted the president, 80,000 votes, 80,000 million votes, we did not see Murathe, we did not vote for Murathe. 80,000 million votes which voted for president, it may be turned down by somebody taking bangi. And I'm repeating, Murathe, you take bangi. And I'm saying, if you don't, sue me, we go in the hospital for you to be checked your status. Because we cannot be led by sick people. The other person is Atwoli. Who is Atwoli? And we want the election. And we are going to fight. We are ready to fight for the right and light on democracy. We are not supporting Ruto because he is a Kalenjin. We are supporting Ruto because he has proved himself to be a leader in this country.
That is true.
It's not because that he is a Kalenjin. Na Murathe, I want to tell Kenyans, kama mnataka tusaidie Murathe, tuchange pesa tupeleke hospitali. He will be admitted. Atawekwa kwa kitanda. Lakini shida yule atampeleka, ataweza shtakiwa na daktari. Kwa nini umekaa na mgonjwa kwa muda mrefu sana? Na ndio inafanya tuseme sisi tunataka uchaguzi sasa. We want election. Hii chama hapana ya mtu mmoja.
That is the MP for Bahati in Nakuru, openly defying, challenging, in fact, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and indeed his party leader in the Jubilee Party. Now, let's make sure we have everything in context. There's been a lot of concern in recent days, from Kenyans, and quite rightly so, about the developing political situation in the country. And that is precisely what we're sticking to in this video. Now, Bwana Kimani Ngunjiri, whom you just heard, and who obviously has a problem with his numbers, because I've never heard of a number 8,000 million. Anyway, this man, alongside Moses Kuria, have launched a vicious attack on their party leader, who is also the President of the Republic of Kenya. Now, I've seen various commentaries about this latest development, and they're good, except for one thing. And I have to acknowledge this is a hard thing to do when political developments are being unleashed at the speed at which we're witnessing them right now in Kenya. The most difficult thing is to be able to identify what is important and what is not. To be able to identify what to focus on, what to look for. It is like a murder scene. You find a murdered person and you're supposed to investigate this murder. And before you even examine the dead body properly, you're rushing to the kitchen to look for a knife or a missing knife. Well, if you had taken the time to examine the body more carefully, you'd have noticed that there was a blunt instrument used on the head, not a knife. Now, there's been a lot of focus on the resignation of David Murathe, the former vice chair of the Jubilee Party and a close advisor to the president. Now I'll tell you straight off why that is not important. It is not important because last time I checked, David Murathe has not resigned as an advisor to President Uhuru. He hasn't. All that has happened is that he has resigned as vice chair of the party. So the story is not a giant who has fallen. It's not somebody very high up in the Jubilee hierarchy losing their job. That is not the story. In fact, I've seen a lot of excitement and drama and a lot of stories around what forced Murathe to resign. There is even the latest story doing the rounds that DP Ruto called the president and demanded, why is this guy who's dividing the party still vice chair of the party? And then immediately after that phone call, Murathe resigned. That's the story circulating. Now get me right. It is possible that that story is true. It is possible. However, even if it is true, it is irrelevant. So, let's focus on what is really relevant here. And let us start by listing a chain of events. And this is the way the events went. David Murathe started off with an attack on the deputy president. The attack happened at a funeral in Siaya. And what Murathe said was that he was going to do everything in his power to block William Samoei Ruto from vying for the presidency in 2022. Predictably, this was followed by a response from the DP Ruto camp. The gist of that response was a personal attack on David Murathe and Raphael Tuju, as senior members in the party who are pushing around their weight, and yet they were never elected. They were appointed. Then at the same time, Kuria's comments or Kuria's attack on the president and his development record in the Mount Kenya area happened. And at about the same time, this scathing attack from Kimani Ngunjiri, the Bahati legislator, which was a direct attack this time on the president, party leader and president of the country. Now, Bwana Ngunjiri used some very disturbing words. From the clip I've just played, I'm sure you very clearly heard the word war, and about the legacy of the president resulting in war. Ngunjiri is also calling on the president to resign, so that Kenyans can go back to the polls and elect a new president immediately. Wow! Now, the first thing I want you to notice is that this response was coordinated. Now, I know English is a difficult language. Ilikuja na meli, as we say in Kenya. It came with the ships. So let me just confirm and reconfirm that we're on the same page. Now, those people who speak Queen's English, those people who have perfect command of the English language, bear with me, okay? Coordinated means, for instance, if you're robbing a bank, there's no way you're going to rob it without a coordinated attack. You know where all the guards are, so the gang members divide themselves and deal with each particular area that could thwart the robbery, that could be a threat to a successful robbery. And note this very carefully. They always deal with the small things, like the small guard at the back of the bank. That one is dealt with very early, before they deal with the major one as they enter the bank. That's a coordinated bank robbery. So the coordinated response by the DP Ruto camp started with people like Tuju, Murathe. And now, that coordinated response is at the doorstep of the president. I think we all now agree that this thing was coordinated. I also believe that it is now crystal clear, that Kuria's remarks about development in the Mount Kenya region must be connected to the DP Ruto response. And that is very big news. Now, very quickly, the dictionary says Coordinate means bring the different elements of a complex activity or organization into a harmonious or efficient relationship. So the long and short of what is happening here is that a complex activity is underway. Is that scary? Of course, it's very scary. Now, although the DP Ruto camp has made several tactical mistakes, which Kenyans see very clearly, and many of them have highlighted on this particular channel, the truth is they are not fools. They are very intelligent people. And there's a reason why I'm telling you that. And the reason is this. What has happened here is like a mosquito attacks a person. And instead of that person looking for the latest newspaper he has in the house, Nation or Standard or The Star, and swatting that mosquito, that person goes straight to his store and gets his biggest hammer. In other words, the DP Ruto camp has responded to a mosquito with a big hammer. And because they're intelligent people and they have a lot of information, there must be a reason. Actually, there can only be one reason. And that reason is that they have information. They have very good reason to believe that this is the beginning of a major attack that will require a hammer and not a newspaper. And so their response is an early response to supersede the coming attack. Let me just illustrate that so that it's clear. You hear a noise at the back of your house, okay? It could be a cat, it could be whatever, but instead you tell your wife to call the police, and then you go to your safe and you remove your revolver, your licensed firearm. And your wife wonders whether you've gone mad, where you're removing your firearm to deal with a cat that is scratching the door. But actually, she doesn't have the information you have, because maybe you're a cop or you have a cop friend, and that cop friend has informed you that there's some dangerous burglars who attack houses with guns, and they start by scratching some door. And the scratching sound is them using the equipment to break in. So armed with your privileged information, somebody on the outside may think you're overreacting, but actually you're preparing yourself to deal with a potentially dangerous situation. Much more dangerous than a stray cat scratching at your back door. Now with that information, the clip I've just played you begins to make a little more sense. The remarks of Moses Kuria from nowhere begin to make a little more sense. Now, there are a few other things which have been happening within the DP Ruto camp that could not be coincidences. Senator Susan Kihika's husband, Susan Kihika is a senator for Nakuru. Nakuru is the same county where this Bahati MP comes from. The one whose clip I've just played at the beginning of this video. Senator Susan Kihika's husband has been arrested, and is due to be charged with serious tax evasion charges. Now, Susan Kihika, Senator Susan Kihika, is very close to DP William Ruto. Very close. She's deep inside the DP Ruto camp. Then there's more. Kenyans are wondering what happened to the Garissa town legislator. Aden Duale has suddenly vanished. He's gone very quiet. He is no longer very visible in the DP Ruto camp. I'm told that he has moved very close to his in-laws. He's really consulting with his in-laws. Who are his in-laws? Well, this is the family of a man called General Retired Mahmoud Mohammed. The man who stormed KBC, at that time it was called VOK, in 1982, August 1st, 1982, and amid fierce gunfire, retook VOK for the government loyalists. yeah, because it had been taken over by the rebels who had attempted a coup in 1982. He wasn't a general at that time, but he was still a very senior army officer. But he was not the kind of army officers who believe in strategizing and leading attacks from behind. He believed in leading attacks right from the front, and this is precisely what he did. And of course, he was later promoted, and he became the Chief of General Staff, yeah, of Kenya after General Mlingi retired. Now, this is a man who has very close contacts, yeah, with the most powerful people in the country. This family is close to the Haji family. I'm of course talking about the Garissa Senator, Yusuf Haji. Yes, father to the DPP, Nurdin Haji. To cut a very long story short, it would appear that Aden Duale is leaning towards the side of the handshake. In fact, yeah, the Garissa Senator, Yusuf Haji, is a member, a very senior member, of the Building Bridges Committee. Or perhaps it's just a coincidence. Yeah, Aden Duale has just suddenly fallen madly in love with his relatives. Yeah, the parents, brothers and sisters of his wife. Or has he? Now, when you take all that information and view the clip I've just shown you at the beginning of this video again, and you listen carefully to the words being used, yeah, the use of the word like war, then it becomes very scary. It would appear like the deputy president is neutralizing, yeah, and neutralizing in advance, yeah, some moves and attacks that were planned for him or that have been planned for him. Bear in mind, the only two political forces in the country at the moment, we don't have an opposition, yeah, as such. The only two major political forces at the moment in the country is the handshake side and the DP Ruto side. And it is now appearing to Kenyans that the DP Ruto side is the opposition and the handshake side is government. Now, you know the government in any part of the world can do very many things to you, many bad things to you. If you dare challenge the government, be prepared for the consequences anywhere in the world, not just in Kenya. Now, what makes this even more complicated is the fact that you're challenging the government, which you yourself are in that government. You're pulling in a different direction. And the truth is, there's no way the government can continue operating while they have people within that same government frustrating the government by pulling in a different direction, by being against, for instance, the handshake. Now, you can give us nice speeches the whole day. You can spend the whole day explaining to us how Jubilee is still the ruling party. But the reality on the ground is very different. And so far, that reality has been chini ya maji. But now, as is very clear from the comments of one Moses Kuria and from the remarks of Bwana Ngunjiri, Kimani Ngunjiri, yeah, this contest is coming out into the open. It is very open. Everybody can see it now. Now, there's another very credible way of looking at all this drama that is unfolding in our politics. William Ruto wants to be president, and he wants to be president with precisely and exactly the same powers that Uhuru Kenyatta has today. However, there's a coming referendum. Yeah, that should be very clear. And if this referendum happens, then Ruto's campaign will be for nothing. Yeah, because what will happen is that the presidency will be watered down. The governance structure in Kenya will be changed. And so, it makes perfect sense for the DP Ruto camp to do everything in their power to ensure that the referendum never happens. And one of the ways of doing that is by forcing political realignments so that the president no longer has the political clout, yeah, to push through with the referendum. And that is why you're hearing words now in our politics like impeachment, yeah, trying to impeach the president. This is what the DP Ruto camp have threatened. And that is why now you're hearing about elections, yeah, that we want the president to resign and we go for elections. Because the Jubilee party is not a person's personal property. Yeah, it has many members. And some of the members within Jubilee are not happy with the president. Actually, the truth is they're not happy with the plans for a referendum because it is going to thwart, frustrate the personal ambitions of some people. Now, folks, to the best of my ability, that is how I read our current political situation. Murathe's resignation means nothing, even if he joins the DP Ruto camp, which is what some rumors are saying. It will obviously not change anything because both sides of the political divide will still be intact. Yeah, the handshake side will be intact and the DP Ruto camp will be intact. And so, focusing on Murathe and the impact of Murathe resigning on the president is not relevant. Yeah, it is not relevant to the unfolding political situation in the country. That is my view, and I could be wrong, assuming that I've read the whole situation wrongly, which is possible. However, with the information I have right now, and with my gut feeling and with my experience, I am persuaded that I am right. And as always, I'll be very interested to hear your views, even views which are contrary, or rather especially views which are contrary to what I'm saying here. So going forward, what should we expect? Well, drama, lots of drama. Lete popcorn, now lete nyingi sana. Now if you're waiting for some predictions from me, I can't give you those predictions because going forward, what's going to happen next is totally unpredictable. Until next time, this is Kshs, Kumekucha.